Hey there folks, and welcome to this video. This one here, I'm going to be trying out Jeddah, Saudi Arabia in F1 2021. Going to be seeing how this track feels in the game. Might talk a bit about it as well. Because, first things first, this track isn't actually finished yet in real life, even though F1 goes there next week. That sounds weird to think, but that's actually the situation F1 finds itself in. A track shaped like a spoon.
Greetings and welcome to Jeddah for what promises to be a sensational slice of world-class motorsport. We're off to the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah street circuit. As you can see, a number of
It's more like, you call that a knife?
here.
This is a knife.
How much the teams have benefited from their
3
time
DRS
spent in
zones.
practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get
That's
it
at 24,
wrong.
but
Let's hope we avoid any safety cars
that
today.
final like hairpin bit wasn't okay.
And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's
Just
Anthony
staging
Davidson.
the
Tell me,
inaugural
Ant,
Saudi
you're no
Arabian Grand
stranger
Prix.
to surviving the melee of turn one. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
Well, the throttle goes both ways, Crofty. You've got to have the discipline not to try and win the race on the first lap, so always be prepared to lift early and give those around you more space. Trying to be the last of the late breakers with half a dozen cars around you may pay off from time to time, but it's also a great way to lose your front wing.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Hamilton,
So I'll be starting fourth,
Lando
going to be
Norris,
playing as
and
Lewis.
Ocon.
Cool if they added the Pride helmet, though I
Leclerc
can't remember if
and
they
Carlos
changed the
Sainz.
livery for the Red Bull back.
Tsunoda, Fernando
No,
Alonso,
what I want to see though
Sebastian
is
Vettel
how the
and
back of
Gasly,
this grid looks.
Giovinazzi, Mazepin, Kimi
Huh?
Räikkönen, and Nicholas
Kimmy's not
Latifi,
laughed for once.
Russell and Mick Schumacher.
Oof.
It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see
Really was
who can
Latifi
prevail
time.
today.
Yeah. Okay, so fourth is on the inside. I'm getting very kind of Singapore vibes from, I guess, a night street race. Ocon's gotten the jump into T1. But I've gotten it back. That's a very tight T1. And the curbs. One of the things I quite like about the curbing is that... Oh! I just got Verstappen. Just gonna cops him. Oh, that's gonna harm me.
Check your MFD for a new strategy.
Oh no, is
option.
it that bad? It actually is. So as you can see, I've done this properly and gotten a bit bogged down at the start, which means I'm oversteering and almost about to murder Lando. Oh. Kaka. That would definitely be a multiple car pile-up in real life. Yeah, I like that some of these curves are, like this one here, as you can see, is built into the actual kind of racing surface. Means that you have that kind of limit before the wall. Of course, it is Saudi Arabia, so you can expect all the plastering of Aramco, 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 Aramco. As a reminder that we do in fact race in Saudi Arabia, as the banner of, is it r/Formula 1 has? Oh, that's quite cool. There are Titans like that right at the end. used up all of my battery for this lap. I see a super max in my rear view. Oh no. That's perfectly fine. Nothing bad with track limits there. Or there. Whew, almost ended up in the wall there though. Yeah, as a track, it presents a lot of challenges with it through the kind of flow of it. Oh. I think one of the things that's quite a relief about it, though, is this bit here. Because even though it's still like a 5th, 6th gear complex, it's like... There was a bit of concern that it was going to be just completely flat out the entire way along here. I know it's the Red Sea, so it's not a particularly windy city. Quite as racing along a literal coastline.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we do need to talk about, though, is F1's decision to race here. Because, well, Aramco is now a massive, massive sponsor of F1. It's been getting more and more influence in the world of Formula 1 in the past 18, 24 months. So a lot of people make human rights jokes about going to Saudi Arabia. I feel like they did about Qatar being announced as well, but like the thing is, I do understand why people make those jokes. Like, they see tracks like the Nürburgring, for example, aren't on the F1 calendar, but places like this, which are in countries like this, where in the Dakar this year, they literally passed by a prison where women who were imprisoned for advocating for women's rights to literally drive were imprisoned. And I'm going to go use a flashback because I need to repair that wing damage. No! And I guess we're going to go and try again. Yeah, I get why people are annoyed that, you know, we're not going back to places F1 fans properly recognise as big things to do with the history of F1. Instead, we're going to places which have paid F1 a lot of money and have a human rights record that is shady at best. I mean, we could just look at the street tracks that we've had most recently in the shape of not only this, but also we could talk about Azerbaijan, Sochi, Singapore. And the thing is, there's even like some classic F1 tracks where you've got these kinds of issues. Turkey, that came back this year, is an example of it. Hungary, which has been a staple of the F1 calendar, it's been on every season since it was first introduced in, when, 86? There's another example. And I think that's the thing that annoys people the most, is for every conversation that we have about like another kind of Mugello, which was amazing, we end up with an actual race where, even if the track seems quite interesting, the backdrop for it is, disappointing to say the least, not really reflective of the F1 fan base. I said at the top of this video about Lewis's crash helmet, the Pride one. The one that he wore in Qatar and is supposedly going to be wearing in Saudi Arabia and Yas Marina, and I hope that where he goes on to do that, I hope that we see him go on to win the championship. He's going to win this virtual race, and Verstappen in this virtual race is going to come across the line in 5th, which would put Lewis in the title lead going to Yas Marina. But all I can say is, yeah, enjoyable track in the virtual world. See what happens in the real world. Just wish the F1, where it talks about We Race as One, would do more that, well, reflects on the entirety of it. Thank you for watching. See you around.